That's right. That is the get you pumped for a UFC pay-per-view theme song right there. As we're getting you ready for UFC 323, the final UFC pay-per-view, at least for the next 7 years. At least we hope, before the UFC shifts on over to Paramount. UFC 323, 2 world title fights. Merab Dvalishvili looking for his record-breaking 4th successful bantamweight title defense in the main event against Petr Yan. Their second meeting, we got Alexandre Pantoja defending the flyweight title against Joshua Van. We have the final fight of Henry Cejudo's career. We got a lot of flyweight fights. We got a lot of bantamweight fights. We got a lot of lightweight fights, which means it's going to be a pretty damn good card, a pretty fun card. And we're here to talk UFC 323 and answer your questions. I am Mike Heck, and I am not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not. Joining me right now is a man who is literally on an airplane. He is on an airplane right now, coming back from Miami, Florida. He called Karate Combat 58 17 hours later than the event was actually scheduled to begin, and did an incredible job. Made us really feel the moment when Rebellis to Spain brutally knocked out Sam Alvey after the referee allowed Sam Alvey to just take way too much punishment. The Bane is here! Ben Davis! 60,000 feet in the sky! How are you?
This is a unprecedented guest appearance. I'm fantastic, Mike. Thank you for having me. I got to say, I'm shocked that this internet is working. I was joking. I was like, oh, hop on. That'd be a good yuck, because there's no way this will connect. And then it did, and now we're here.
Yeah, we are connected to the best of our ability. We will get after it for as long as possible, as long as the internet will allow for Ben. But Ben, Karate Combat, what a wild evening. We thought the event would be over by the time it actually began. There was a lot of weirdness, but credit to the Karate Combat crew. They said, you know what? We're just going to keep things rolling. It's like the delay never happened. We're going to start from fight 1 and go all the way to fight 11 or 12 or whatever it was. Your thoughts, man? You were right there watching the chaos. How was your experience calling KC 58?
The experience commentating Karate Combat 58 was a wild one, in that, like you mentioned explicitly, there was such a huge delay from when I was anticipating this event to start and when it actually ended up kicking off. Right now, I'm not going to go into all the nitty gritty. I'm going to be a shill for no reason. But let's just say that it was a wacky one and very unconventional. And, I wish that things were different. That's the best that I can offer. However, the most important thing I would say is not my issues and frustrations as a broadcaster trying to acclimate to that non-ideal scenario, but these athletes, because think about the frustration that they are going through, the sacrifices that they put in for this fight camp, the weight cut, and now you're asking them to, compete 7-8 hours removed from when they believe that they were. And Mike, as you know, there's such a science with fighting, and a lot of these teams are so high level with their IQ that it could come down to quite literally the hour, right? When they anticipate making the walk is where they'll revolve training around, not 3:12 a.m. local time Eastern in Little Cuba, Miami, Florida. So I think that's the big frustration for me, right? Is how much of a curveball it was thrown at the athletes who give everything. And you brought it up brilliantly. All roads led to Bellas to Spain, and he dispatched Sam Alvey in frightening fashion in the second frame. And I'm torn on this, Mike, because I do realize the optics of this. A gargantuan 2012 bronze medalist in Taekwondo at the Olympics, who is just a beast and has so many freaky fast finishes, going up against a career middleweight who, tested the light heavyweight waters, but, 8-fight losing streak to conclude the UFC tenure. And even if he rebuilt himself on this 6-fight unbeaten path that he's been paving, the optics were still there, I think, in many fans' minds, and the questions and concerns. And I had those as well. I will say this. The more that I looked into this matchup when I was prepping for it, and I'm so sorry for monologuing, gang. I'm really absorbing and utilizing too much time here. But this is more complex than I think it appeared, because you break down the 8-fight losing streak and you see, the second to last UFC bout he had was against Brendan Allen, who is currently top 5 contender in the middleweight division. You see guys like Ryan Spann, who are, oftentimes top 15 fringe, contenders in light heavyweight, 6'5", similar physical stature to a guy like Robelis Despain. Albie took him to a split decision. So, I recognize, right, the optics of it, but I just wish that maybe everyone gave the old man a crack, right? Gave the vet a shot here, because Robelis lost back-to-back fights to Waldo and I believe Zach Palga. And, no disrespect to both of those guys, and Waldo's fantastic. That's aging well. But for Zach Palga, the former NFL star, who's 1-4-1 in the UFC, all four of those being stoppage losses to non-elite names, if you're losing to that guy, then yeah, maybe I could start to believe a little bit that smiling Sam Alvey has a fucking chance in big 2025. But it's just, I don't know. It turned out the way that everyone expected, and as a broadcaster, it's difficult to commentate action like that and that severity of it, Mike.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, after the first round, and Sam started moving around a little bit, and he was throwing a little bit more volume. Like, all right, maybe like Robelis is gonna get tired, and Sam could just like survive and advance, I guess. Like that's what it was. And then he got dropped bad, and the referee allowed to go. And then when Sam stood up and literally stumbled his way onto the ramp in the corner, I was like, okay, we've seen enough. We could just stop this. The ref's like, no, you couldn't be more healthy. Get your ass back out there and fight this 6'7" behemoth and get kicked in the face. It was just crazy watching. I'm like, what did Sam Alvey do to this man in a past life that he allowed this to go on the way that it did? It's crazy. Ben Davis, by the way, if you're just joining us from an airplane, like literally the plane is flying and he is joining us. So if the internet looks a little fuzzy, that is why, but he is still here nonetheless.
And I'd like to add this. We're not in first class. We're not in business. We are stuck in economy 17 East. So I apologize to the gentleman next to me for this decision making. But I mean, come on. I couldn't lose out on some precious time with my good friend Mike Heck.
And we love this. Let's talk to the peeps. We do have a couple of super chats flying in. Flying armbar and Cage Warriors is wild. Must see. This is from our good pal LFC DJ1. Ben, you saw this flying armbar from Daniel Conrad. Pretty insane. What is going on in Cage Warriors? What is in the water for this event? I don't know.
Excellence is in the water. That's all they're drinking. It's not Gatorade. It's not Coke or Pepsi. It is simply viciousness that they're consuming and delivering. I will offer this for Conrad's opponent. I would be so fucking pissed if I was him. If I get armbarred in that fashion, I would beat myself up in the back. I'd be like, how could no one could have anticipated, right, the lightning movement, right, that he slapped that on. But hey, Conrad, that's a great highlight for the reel. I can't wait to see what's next for him.
Lazy Bed, 3:14 a.m. time of death was an all-time line.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, let's unpack this real quick, and I apologize again to the viewers for my technology and internet. I was challenged as a broadcaster. I'm quite young in this still and trying to find my own voice and path. And when you have these types of wrenches getting thrown at you, it is difficult to have that composure and try and deliver the best you can. I do regret the phraseology of that post-knockout sequencing. Now, my brain, right, I say Robelis Despain turned into a ghost. And then from my brain, when I hear ghost, right, I go from A to B, which is what a killing blow that the Cuban delivered. And then from B to C, it was, I look at the clock, 3:14, time of death, because we're in the lens, the avenue of ghost, killing blow, death. And then I believe I even added on, the final nail in the coffin from the bronze medalist. Now he achieved gold here in karate combat. So I was happy in a sense of like the structure maybe because it was connected. Like I enjoyed that, but I just think with the severity of this sport and the reality that these people are being harmed and fighters have died, I do regret the phraseology of time of death 3:14 because, God forbid Sam Alvey experienced something catastrophic, then that would have aged horrendously bad, and I would have never forgiven myself for how that outlined. So I should have said time of destruction 3:14. That's my learning lesson as a play-by-play broadcaster. I'm glad that some people appreciated it, and I just hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, if it happened 9 minutes ago, happened at 3:05 a.m. in Miami, that would have been wild. What timing that would have been.
I could have done a Pitbull impression, Mike. I could have put on my Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305. Like I could have hit some.
Yeah. I will say, I thought you and Robin actually clicked very well. Many who listen to these shows, and I tell it like it is, Ben. I don't think Robin is a great like lead commentator. I do think he's a very solid color guy if the right guy is sort of like guiding him along. And I thought you brought the best out of Robin last night. I will say, I did. I thought you guys meshed very, very well.
I appreciate that attempt, Mike, and I really agree with that in a lot of ways because so many fans, and this isn't to knock anyone's intelligence, but they don't understand the roles within the booths and kind of the chemistry and how that complexion changes depending on who's sitting in what spots. And I have long waited for the opportunity to work alongside Robin Black because he is this guy who never takes the beaten path, right? With his words, with his ideologies, he's so philosophical and blends, the kinesiology, blends in Bruce Lee mantras. Like you just don't get that out of many analysts. And to your point, he's not a play-by-play. I don't think that that's the role for him, and I don't think he would say that. Just like I'm not a color guy and I'm not a ring announcer. You wouldn't see Bruce Buffer trying to, break down how a single leg takedown should be completed, nor would you see John Anik walk you through those types of sequences. It's about respecting the lane and operating with the tool set for the job. I'm a hammer. Robin's a wrench, and we do what we do with that construction. And Robin is so exquisite, and it was just fun, man. I mean, working alongside him. I'll give you a quick aside story. Years ago, I had really achieved not much trying to pave my way in this space, and I was doing esports commentary. And again, not to knock esports, I love esports, but the scene's quite small for MMA. I reached out to Robin Black and asked him, "Hey, can you come and commentate this esports card? It's the UFC's affiliated esports league. We got a big show, big prize for the winner. Would you be interested in coming on?" And he said, absolutely. He said, there's something so interesting about commentating video game, right? The digital versus the reality. And I loved how his brain operated. And we had a great show years back. And this is the first time that him and I got to do something IRL in person. And yeah, Mike, to your point, it was great. I hate giving such long-winded answers, but it's funnier to monologue while on a plane than give you short, quick hits.
I mean, what better place to do it? I respect it and appreciate it. If you're just joining us, this is Ben the Bane Davis, literally flying right now. He is in an airplane flying home from Miami, flying home from Karate Combat, and he is joining us. I don't know how this is actually happening. You have not cut out really at all. This is incredible. Like, I don't know how this is possible. And hopefully a flight attendant does not yell at you for this.
I hope they do. Imagine clips, Mike. Imagine how we can clip farm this if everyone gets mad at me for podcasting. No, I will say this, like my home setup, bro, has shitty internet and oftentimes fails and packet bursts and the latency goes out, right? So how on earth is my fucking iPhone 60,000 feet in the air on my American Airlines Wi-Fi? I just don't understand it. But yeah, we're here.
It's unbelievable. Joseph asking, considering what happened to Macy Barber last time we saw her, does she need a finish if she wants to stay in the women's flyweight championship title hunt? So kind of a loaded question right now, Ben, because we don't really know what this championship hunt actually looks like because Valentina Shevchenko, from all accounts, is not going to be fighting anytime soon. Natalia Silva is pretty clearly the number one contender for that title right now. But because Valentina is not fighting, she is now stepping in to fight Rose Namajunas at UFC 324 on January 24th. So now Macy's finds herself in a really interesting spot, especially with Alexa Grasso sort of out of the equation. To me, Ben, and I don't know if you agree with this, I think if Macy Barber wins this fight, she fights Manon Fiorot next. And if she wins that fight, she's fighting for a belt.
Mike, I'm going to tell you what, because I'm so thinly researched on this division and the rankings of it, I'm going to agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm going to say that's perfect. I co-sign that, but I will add this upon it. While maybe the shifts at the top are hard to predict, the battle before the battle is what's interesting to me about Macy Barber, because given her medical situations and this journey that she's been on just to make it back to the fucking cage, right? That is a war that she's won and looked great on the scales, looked like she's completely healthy and going to put on a good effort, and we'll see if that translates to a positive result. But either way, it's a win regardless. That Macy Barber battled back from what she endured and is able to get in that cage and lock the doors.
Well, let's hope she makes it. Let's hope she gets there. I think we're still a little hesitant at the end of the day. And I think we have a right to be. But if she makes that walk, and she's early in the card, we'll know pretty quickly if she will be competing. And we look forward to this fight with Create Silva. And I was wrong. It's not Menenfioro. It's Erin Blanchfield. We have to settle that rivalry. We have to settle that beef. It's the most interested I think anybody would be in Erin Blanchfield right now in her UFC run. Not saying she's a bad fighter. She's just not the most like over personality. And I think Macy might help that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. David Bain, put your seat neighbors on. The people want to hear from them.
I think that, guys, I think you would see me get knocked out again if I put on anyone in this plane. We don't need to see a Ben loss. I've avoided it since October 12th of 2024. I don't want to repeat that history.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we're there's certain lines we can't cross at this point, and that might be the one that we just cannot cross at this point. Last stat, how big would it be if Merab didn't just win, but won by TKO? How big would it be if Merab caps off this year, Ben, with a finish via strikes against Petr Yan? How insane would that be?
It would be ridiculous, but would it really be as surprising as some think? That's the question, because his striking levels up every single time he enters the cage. And this, plateau we see technically from some people when they get to the top and they just further crystallize their skill sets isn't what we are seeing Merab Dvalishvili do. It's just nothing but additions and layers being added and wrinkles being formed to the Georgian. And, he dropped Corey Sandhagen. I'll die on that hill. Landed a beautiful right in terms of effectiveness, maybe not technique, but it's all about the significance, and it works. So from a run, I think that, yes, the striking and the stand-up is so evolved from where it was in their first encounter, but, no mercy. Petr Yan is cream of the crop when it comes to hands and feet. Like, I don't think that there are many practitioners that are better than him on the feet, but I could see a TKO, right? I could see some exhaustion. I could see, maybe fourth, fifth round, Merab getting some from ground and pound, and then that's that. But I don't think we'll see something miraculous on the feet from Merab.
We shall see. I'm intrigued by the fight. Let's see if there's anything that will happen when it comes to that. People are asking where Jed is. Jed is in Atlanta. He is in Atlanta. He will be on the watch party. He will just not be on the watch party here. He will not be in Command Center 4.0 because he, as you guys saw,
you're gonna make him watch Merab. You're gonna make him watch his greatest enemy. That's brutal, Mike. How dare you?
But at least he gets to do it from the comfort of his home. Jed's not feeling great. So, having him make the drive all the way here, potentially getting his parents sick, potentially getting us sick. We're actually heading out to Massachusetts. We're driving to Massachusetts literally tomorrow afternoon, where we'll be spending the next couple of weeks up there. Jed did not want to get any of us sick as well, so he will join us virtually. It'll look good. We'll have the round clock. We'll have all the bells and whistles. As you can see, we're already gearing up. We got the Christmas cookie tin behind me. We got the tree with the candy canes. You might see a little Grinch hanging back there on the blanket, hanging over the couch. Like, we are getting festive up in here. There will be a Christmas sweater. There will be a Santa hat. We are going to be festive here in Command Center 4.0. We will, Jed will be over in Atlanta, and he will look festive as well in his own way. But, that's what's happening tonight. So thank you.
Mike, I got to know. I have
Please.
to know what's in the tin. What's in the tin?
The old
Tell
school,
the people what's in the tin.
Hold on. I'll bring it over.
It's 14 kilos of grade A cocaine.
Oh yeah, it's the real deal rich and buttery cookies, the vintage bake shop,
God.
the classics, the 2-pound tin. Bought it today. The wife wanted to spice the place up and make it look really festive, so we got the old school tin just like last year. So,
do people actually eat the butter cookies in those tins? Are they more decorative, or is it actually an edible? Consumable product, Mike? That's the question.
It is. I think Jed and I actually tried to eat some last year, and I think we were the first people to eat them, and maybe since 1987, honestly. But anything for the views and the clicks, Ben. That's what we're all about here. at MMAfighting.com. CT Kook, please bring back the OG preview song and the victory horns. The drums and the others song don't hit the same. I get what you're talking about, but the beauty of the OG preview show song was because Casey would yell and scream at the top of his lungs. And now every time I hear that song, a single tear falls down my cheek. And I don't want people to see that. We're emotional that Casey's no longer with us at MMAfighting.com. So brings back bad memories. I mean, great memories, but memories that, you know, we reflect too far backwards. We love Casey. We'll let him have that one. But we still have the old school ending music. We still have Esther Lynn on BTL leading us all in. So come on. We're doing the best we can trying to balance it out here. What else?
I'm just happy that everyone has fun. That's my only... The MMA media warfare, the trench warfare in MMA media, drafting the Raw and SmackDown of different outlets. I'm just hoping everyone has a good time, Mike.
Yes. Lazy Bet, who will be the MVP of the UFC 323 prelims? Really good question. MVP of the prelims?
Marvin Vettori.
Marvin Vettori. Wow, he could be.
He's going to be Vettori. Pinch me. I'm Italian dreaming, Mike. It's the Vettori train.
I think he's actually got a real good chance to win tonight. Because Bruno, like, Marvin can't be hurt.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting Bruno Ferreira, who missed weight, and Marvin cannot be hurt by anybody. So, kind of, I don't know.
You say that, and then Marvin is somehow going to get flattened tonight.
It might be. I mean, everybody's chin cracks at some point. Maybe it'll happen for Marvin.
God, remember the Bruno KO of RoboCop?
Yeah, it was nasty, man. God, this is so, because the prelims are actually really good. I'm gonna say Manuel Torres, because he could lose to Grant Dawson. Like, that is a very real possibility, but I kind of think he's gonna finish Grant. He's gonna land something big and get a finish. So if that happens, it's going to be him without question. So, Ben, I think we might have to let you go, buddy. You are just like a statue.
I'm trying. I'm like, if I stay still, maybe the connection will get better.
Oh, wait a minute. Now you're facing. Now we're moving a little bit. Yeah. You're like one of those like 80s skits where it's just like a dude's still face, but somehow his lips start to move. That's what you look like right now. But you are moving around a little bit. We have some movement, so we can keep you for a little bit. This is a terrific question that you might have insight to. Alajua, did Chris Barnett make his flight?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope, Mike. I hope. I'll tell you this. So Chris Barnett was the only fighter from KC58 that I saw before the event. I got in late. I was busy prepping notes all night, all morning, all afternoon before the show. So I didn't really get the chance to hang out with anyone. And I ran by Chris in the lobby and I introduced myself. And I was like, Chris, hey, very excited to be commentating your fight tomorrow. What are you kind of expecting? How's camp going? And he is like the funniest guy of all time. Never gave a straight answer. I don't think I got anything that I could use on air. But he did say this, right? He was like, listen, look, Chris Barnett, Sando, that's all you need to know. So I Googled it during my research, and it's like him in this weird, it's more like the Total Combat oval than it is the Karate Combat pit. But like years and years ago, it's him fighting two other guys in like this shitty underground league. And I'm watching it, and I was like, why did he tell me to watch this? How on earth does this help me? But then he won by, he got a TKO via fat, as some people are calling it. I don't like that, Mike, but TKO via seismic slam, I do enjoy that.
Dude, that's a nasty trip. That was a sneaky-ass trip. Dude's head slammed on the back of the ramp. Like, that was a beautiful trip. That was like Islam Makhachev style right there. Just nice. Just had him locked up. Look at him grab, like, getting a trip. If the most unlikely outcome of that entire event was Chris Barnett getting a takedown knockout win in karate combat. And that's what he did. He tripped a dude into a knockout. It's in a minute, in 61 seconds. This guy is a hero. It's just an absolute hero. And we love Chris Barnett. We love this man, and I want every promotion on planet Earth to acquire his services so we give the people what we want. It was so nice to see him with a smile on his face doing the front flip, celebrating a win. It had been a very long time, Ben.
It's been since 2022 since Beast Boy's been able to uncork the dance moves inside the setting. And I just enjoyed it because, you know, with what happened in October with Hamdi Abdelwahab, was just, it's tricky, right? It's a bad fight. His shorts are falling down. It doesn't look great. And you sort of go, this is not fun all around. And for him to get a bounce back before the end of the calendar year is just special. And, you know, to your point, right, Jonathan Miller, big baby Jonathan Miller, his opponent, is a guy who on paper was taking a huge step up, right? Jonathan Miller, 4 fights within BKFC, 2-2. I believe he's lost 3 more bouts after his bare knuckle fighting championship tenure concluded. So not really great. Spade's a spade. This guy's not great. And somehow, right, rose to the occasion, stunned Chris Barnett, had Beast Boy moving backwards. And, you know, Chris relied on that experience and veteran know-how. But, dude, Jonathan Miller came to play. Like, that wasn't a guy who was looking to be an easy pushover. And no underdog at KC 58 really looked like an underdog, right? They all kind of overperformed. Claudio Ribeiro knocking out Jaden Anod. Lorenz Larkin getting TKO'd by Benilto Antunes. Are you kidding me? That was shocking. The last time that Lorenz Larkin was TKO'd was 2017 against Paul Semtex Daly in Bellator. That was only the second time he'd been TKO'd. So for a guy in Benilto Antunes, who was on I believe a 3-fight losing streak, just got choked out by Val fucking Woodburn, to TKO the Monsoon at 3 a.m, unreal.
Yeah, I wonder like how much the time shift affected Lorenz. But, you know, I mean, everybody had a fight with it, so. Last stand. What the hell is next for Derrick Lewis if he wins? I mean, there's 2 things. 1, he will play golf again and he'll cheat his ass off. And 2, he will fight for the heavyweight championship, because I truly think that's what's going to come out of that fight with Waldo Cortez Acosta. The winner of that fight is fighting, I expect Tom Aspinall to beat Cyril God, but who knows? Like, the UFC just might be so pissed at Aspinall that they just strip him of the belt and then they do Gane against one of those 2 guys. Like, it would not shock me at this point that the UFC would pull a move like that. But I think if Derrick wins, he's fighting for the belt next. I said he should have been fighting for the belt before Cyril Gane. They should have just given it to him, because MMA is supposed to be fun. And what would be more fun than Derrick Lewis versus Tom Aspinall? I can't think of many things that would be much more fun. So, yeah, I think if he wins, he fights for the belt. What do you think?
Well, you did fail to mention the third item on that list that was illustrated so journalistically well at the seasonal press conference. His wife, that's going to be next if he wins.
Yes. Someone
Journalism's in the gutter, dude.
Oh, God. Oh, that was tough. I was like, because I always talk about how John Anik is so good at those like events, because he knows like when to steer it. He knows like when a back and forth goes on to, because you could tell he was a radio guy at one point. And I know for a fact, I used to listen to Anik on the radio when I lived in Burlington, Massachusetts as a young man. And I remember, like, you have to know when the time is up. You have to know when it's time to shift out of things. You can't let things drag on too long. And Anik is always really good at that. And I was hoping, like, if he ended that press conference like 7 minutes earlier, it would have been like an A+ presser to me. Like, it was really well done. I was into it. Yeah, we got like some good clips at the end, like Derrick Lewis saying some weird shit, but we're a couple questions in a little longer than we needed to. It's
it's like at what cost, right? Yes, we get some viral clip farming and it's goofy, and right, that's stuff that plays well on socials these days with this current attention economy. But at what cost, right? These are athletes that are at the highest level, and you've got some dipshit from, you know, down the street going, "Are you gonna fuck your wife?" Like, it just, come on. Like, is the bar that low? I suppose it is. But geez Louise.
Yeah. I mean, Derrick can make anything funny. Like he's just so good at this.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But the question from Masters of the Universe Classic is, what did you think of the seasonal press conference as a whole? What did you take away from that, from the vibes between the fighters? I actually really liked it, and I know a lot of people like would have loved for Justin Gaethje and like Paddy Pimblett to start like slapping each other in the face and stuff. I thought everybody did a great job. God, I wish Diego Lopez would stop with the stop crying thing. I think you need to move on, man. Like, I understand you're a little frustrated. I like, shout out to Oscar for asking him that question. I was like, all right, here's your chance. Like, you could do the thing right now and just be like, hey, I know some of the fans might be upset, but like, I'm going to go fight for the belt and win the title. Like, I'm not going to say no to a title shot. But again, it was stop crying. And you could tell like even he wasn't comfortable saying that. So that was like the one kind of bummer for me from the whole presser. But other than that, like I liked the respect between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. I liked obviously Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira being announced for the BMF belt is awesome. And then like Kayla and Amanda got me fired up a little bit more, Ben. Like I thought it was a successful press conference for the most part. And I think we've lost Ben. Yes, we
Can you hear me? Mike.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, we're losing you, my man. Yep, he's gone. Hey, we did it. We lasted almost 30 minutes, man. Almost 30 minutes with Ben. That was pretty impressive. And he was on a plane, like literally flying in a plane the entire time. That was pretty incredible. So shout out to Ben for hopping on for as long as he could. But yeah, that was my biggest takeaway of the presser. It was just nice to have that back again, like doing those seasonal press conferences. Those are always fun. We could do stuff like that. So, but again, shout out to Ben. Who needs to win the most in both title fights? It's like, wow. I don't know. I mean, I would say it's got to be Jan, right? It's got to be Jan. Yeah, it's got to be Jan. Because I don't think Jan gets another shot, man. I just don't. I think this is kind of it. So, yeah. I think it's Jan. Merab, if he loses, he gets a rematch. If Pants loses, he gets a rematch. Josh Van, if he loses, he's got to fight for the belt again. So it's Jan pretty clearly. Jared's, hey, next to Bill Ricca. What's up, Bill Ricca? Mikey's Roast Beef, by the way. If you're ever in Bill Ricca, you got to go to Mikey's. Place absolutely slaps. Terrific to-go food. They are a well-oiled machine over at Mikey's. And you'll get so much, like it'll take you 2 days to eat their meals. So shout out to Bill Ricca. Shout out to Mikey's. Shout out to Bill Ricca Country Club. Played some golf, a lot of golf there back in the day. Yeah. Ben the Plane Davis. Easy Ray. Could Cejudo rewrite his career with a win against Talbot, a champion who was just not liked by brass, but also a guy that put a foot in his mouth too? I don't think he can rewrite his career. I think it'll be just kind of like a good moment for him to go out with a win. I have a bet on Henry Cejudo tonight. I think he could absolutely win this fight. I'm curious to see how he starts. I know he's saying things like, I'm just going to go all out and try to do the thing here. But if he just fights like Cejudo and just wrestles, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed win, but I think he has a chance. So I'm taking a dog shot at him for watch party bets. So, yeah. But I don't think it like rewrites his career because that retirement will never go away. There's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do that can sort of fix that retirement. So, yeah, that's what I think. Did you like the way they announced Max and Charles? It felt different, right? Yeah, I thought it was great. Again, that's what happens with these press conferences. It builds anticipation. Now, did I know that fight was going to be announced? 1,000% I knew that fight was going to be announced. I knew earlier this week that fight was going to be announced, but it was off the record information. That's why before even John Anik introduced the fighters, we already had that locked and loaded and ready to go. But off the record information, embargoed information, that's what it was. As soon as it was announced, and they announced in that promo video, if you watched it on YouTube, I love that fight. That fight friggin' rocks, man. I can't wait. Absolutely cannot wait. But I love the way they did it. It wasn't a stupid Instagram live or, Dana yelling at his cell phone. It was like, it felt big. It gave that fight the energy it deserved. Why is Gaethje and Patty getting a shot over Arman? I think we know the answer to this question. The UFC does not like Arman. It's pretty clear they don't like Arman. Patty was the guy, and they want Patty Ilya. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that Patty is like definitely going to beat Justin Gaethje, but he has a much better chance of beating Justin Gaethje than he has of beating Arman Tsarukyan. Like, Paddy Pimblett versus Arman Tsarukyan, to me, is a horrific matchup for Paddy. Like, it's so bad. Even as good as he's gotten and the improvements he's made, Arman wallops him. So they're not gonna risk that fight with Ilya, but they can't hold him back any longer. They can't just give Paddy, you can't throw him in there with, you can't throw him in there with Oliveira for the interim belt right now. It makes no sense. Throw him in there with Gaethje. Like, he beats Gaethje. Like, that is his best win by a mile. And that's a very good win. And we're not getting A+ Justin Gaethje. We're not getting 99 on the right, on the outside corner Justin Gaethje anymore. We're still getting like hammer and tongs Gaethje, but just a little less. That's all. I think this would be a terrific win for Paddy if he beats Gaethje. And it is definitely I'm not going to say the safer matchup, but it's the better matchup for Paddy. If we're going to get the Ilya fight, he goes and beats Justin, he's going to get it. And he would have got it anyways. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. The one thing we can kind of gauge from both Gaethje and Paddy is they're not like super active guys. So if Ilya decides like, hey, I want to fight in April, I don't see either of those two guys like turning around again, So maybe there is a chance that Arman gets his shot before the interim champ gets the unification bout. That's like what I'm hopeful for, because I love Gaethje Paddy. It's a great fight. It's the fight that should happen. So, yeah, man. Mike, what has to happen tonight to make this last pay-per-view ever the best pay-per-view ever? I don't know. I mean, I don't think anything can make it that way. It's just not one of those things. This is not, I mean, I would say obviously if Jan goes out there and just bolts Merab, just bolts him, gets a first round knockout out of nowhere or something, that would be pretty wild. If we have back-to-back knockout upsets in the title fights, that'd be huge. We have 5 main card fights that end in finishes. That would be great. The UFC announcing something big for April, maybe. If they announced Ilya versus Arman main event in April for wherever that pay-per-view is going to be, just out of nowhere, and they're both in the crowd or something, that'd be sick. That'd be amazing. That to me, UFC 199 was so memorable because so much shit happened. And I'm not even talking about the stuff that happened with Ariel and Casey and Esther and all that. I'm just talking about the event and all the vibes behind it. UFC 200 was in such a weird spot. UFC 199 is going on, and we're seeing these crazy fights get put together. We're seeing Michael Bisping finally get his chance at the middleweight belt, and we're looking at the rest of this card, and we're like, holy shit, this actually is you could compare this card to UFC 200 in a lot of ways. In fact, some people thought that UFC 199 on paper was better. And on top of that, you add in the Brock Lesnar news and the promo, and I know that was reported before, but still, when you see a promo and like Brock's there and you know he's fighting, that's a huge deal. When they announced Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor are rematching UFC 202 and Nate's in the crowd and he's getting this big ovation. He's got the overhead bicep pose and he's slapping Dana White in the middle of the street in a video that's on social media. Like, the vibes for that card were unbelievable. The first fight of the night was one of the best fights of the year. It was just one of those events that just was incredible. Like, everything fell and landed beautifully. And then Bisping getting the big win and all that, like that event, it's just, of those low key events, I just think it's going to be so tough to beat UFC 199, man. Bobby, what is Grant Dawson's ceiling? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Well, I think we're going to get more of an answer tonight. At least that's how I see it. Because Manuel Torres is really good. If he goes out there and just dominates Manuel Torres, then I think we get a little more of a gauge. But I don't look at Grant as like a guy who's going to fight for the lightweight title or anything, because I just think like his road it's going to take him literally forever to get there. He's going to have to win like 7 more fights before the UFC is even thinking of putting him in that position. So could be a top 5 guy. I mean, he is very good at what he does. What happened with Ariel Esther Casey, UFC 199, out of the loop? Google it. A lot. I mean, just go Google it. A lot happened. Ariel's done full episodes of the MMA Hour about it. So I don't want to like go down that rabbit hole, but obviously that was a big deal. So. What else we got? Some people are saying we're showing favoritism with questions. Well, ask your damn questions. What you got? Ask them. Risk 1%. What do you have? Bring me a question. What else we got? Grant's not well-rounded enough to ever be champ. I don't know, man. He's going to get hit tonight. Like, he's going to get hit real, real hard. So, after Bobby Green just colded him, I need to see how his chin handles a big shot again. So, like I said, that's why we're going to get a ton of answers tonight, at least to me. Casbaris, I'm amazed that Edson Barboza, Jalen Turner, and Marvin Vettori are on the early prelims. There's some exciting and big names to have so early on a card. I agree. I don't think you can like reward Jalen Turner with a main card fight or like a big spot fight after just being like, I'm done. And then like 4 months later being like, nah, I'm just kidding. JK, LOL, I'm back. You got to make him work a little bit. But this is this is a really good card. This has zero casual appeal. So like, this is not going to do bonkers. This is probably going to be one of the lowest selling pay-per-views of the year. It's just how it is and how people even still in 2025, how they view the lighter weight classes. But to me, this is just, in terms of just actual matchups and stakes and intrigue and storylines and like what could come after, this is one of the better cards of the year, I think. I mean, honestly, the last 11 fights are all significant. They all have something interesting. And even like I love the first fight. Myron Santos, Muhammad Naimov. Like, I'm really looking forward to this fight. And it's going to start in 3 minutes. We know it. Mansour Abdul Malik, Antonio Tricoli is probably going to be. It's going to be an absolute annihilation. Ibo Aslan versus Iwo Baranowski. Obviously a great hashtag there with the 2 first names, but he was really good. He's an up-and-comer. He's got a great opportunity to make a name. And then, like, from there, we go from Edson Barboza to Jalen Turner versus Jalen Turner, Marvin Vettori, Bruno Ferreira, Fares Zayem, Nazim Sadikov. Are you kidding me? That fight's going to be incredible. Macy Barber, Karine Silva, like, everything going on with Macy in this division. What if she loses? What if she wins? Terrence McKinney, Chris Duncan, you know that's going to be insane. Grant Dawson, Manuel Torres, great fight. And then, like, the main card is all, like, very solid. It's all very, very solid. So, I really like this. I really like this fight card. Mike, with the new rights deal, do you think we'll get more enthusiasm with fights and announcements like last night? Also, what would you like to see face-to-faces, maybe like Till, Masvidal? I don't think we're going to get any of that, honestly. I think we'll get some stuff. But again, as I've said with this whole deal, like, I think we're going to see some things that we haven't seen in a while early. And then, like, once we get to Q2, it's going to be business as usual. We're going back to just all the same hits over and over again. All right, take a couple more. When is the UFC coming back to Boston? I don't know. Boston doesn't... The thing about Boston is, like, they don't need... Boston doesn't need to pay for a UFC event. Like, they don't struggle with tourism at all. There's no tourism trouble in Boston. Everybody friggin' loves to go to Boston. Doesn't matter what time of year, even in the freezing cold, people love to go to Boston. They love it. So they don't need to pay the UFC to help advertise tourism. So they will not pay the UFC a dime to go there. However, what is in their favor is that Dana White is from Boston. And he loves going there. So I would say, if they're not there by the end of 2027, I will be pretty surprised. And this is with no knowledge. I'm just kind of going based off of Dana at one point should be like, you know what? Like, I kind of want to go to Boston, and they're just going to go. Johnny, thank you, man. Here's my tally of MMA Fighting's fantasy draft through the latest event. Damon has 1450. I have 1450. Guillermo is 1325. Jed is 1300. Casey is 1150. AK is 1125. Yeah. I have 1450, and I drafted a whole bunch of fighters who just didn't fight. Like half my roster did not fight at all, which is insane. So I'm going to have a really hard time figuring out who I'm going to keep. Will you guys do a Rise of New Year's Eve card? I don't hate that idea. I just don't know, like, what I'm going to be doing. I don't know, like, if I'm going to be working New Year's Eve. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to this long stretch of time without the UFC. And it's not because, you know, and this is not like, it just, we don't get an off season ever. Like, the most time we get is like maybe a month. And then it's just like boom, 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 boom. And now we're getting like a 6-week break. And this is awesome. This is awesome. Like, and I talked about this on BTL, maybe even the preview show yesterday. Can you imagine how fired up we are going to be heading into UFC 324? Can you imagine? Can you just imagine where, like, the excitement levels ahead of an event? It has been forever. It has been forever. We don't get to miss them. We don't get to miss the UFC because they never go away. So, yeah, it is going to feel like a long time. But the intensity, the need for the UFC to be back is going to be awesome. It's going to be spectacular. So I'm very, very excited about that. All right, we're going to get out of here because the fights are, I believe, at least the broadcast, I believe, has begun. And there we go. There's the main card lineup on the screen. I'll give some quick predictions and then we'll get the hell out of here so we can all enjoy. All of this. Let me pull up my picks. I'll give you my bets too while we're at it. All right, so bonuses I'm going with Manuel Torres. I'm going with Alexandre Pantoja. And I don't know if we're going to get a fight of the night. I'll say Chris Duncan, Terrence McKinney is fight of the night. That's what I will say. Let's go to main card predictions, and I'll give you my bets as well. We will kick off with Jan Blachowicz taking on Bogdan Guskov, as we sit, according to our friends at FanDuel. Both minus 108 is a complete coin flip right now. I don't have a side here because I have no idea how this fight's going to look. I have the under 2.5 in this fight at minus 145 via our good friends at FanDuel. Then we go to the final fight of Henry Cejudo's career. Peyton Talbot, the minus 250 favorite. The comeback on the former two-division champ, Triple C, is plus 205. I'm picking Henry Cejudo by decision. I have a bet on Henry Cejudo at plus 215. Do I have any confidence in either of those things? No, but I think it's a fight that Henry Cejudo can win. And if he fights like Henry Cejudo, I think he can win. So there you go. We go to the featured bout. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Flyweights getting after it. We got Tatsuro Taira, the minus 120 favorite. The comeback on Brandon Moreno, the former multi-time flyweight champion, is plus 102. I got a dog bet on Brandon Moreno until I see Tatsuro Taira beat Brandon Moreno. I don't believe it's going to happen. I think people just kind of devalue what Brandon Moreno has accomplished because he doesn't have the belt right now. So I have a dog bet Brandon Moreno at plus 102. I think he wins via decision. I think he does enough. I think he can kind of do just enough to thwart the grappling of Tatsuro Taira. Taira is not going to outstrike Brandon Moreno. So I think Moreno gets it done. Co-main event, flyweight title on the line. Alexandre Pantoja, pretty sizable favorite. Let me pull it up real quick. He is minus 230. The comeback on Josh Van, plus 190. I like Josh Van, man. I really like him. It's not his time. It's just not, today is not the day for Josh Van. If he does, it'd be incredible. I think Pantoja wins convincingly, gets a finish in round 2. I'll say submission. I don't know if it's a rear naked choke, but it'll be a submission of some kind. It'll be a dominant win. It's not a dig on Van. It's because I just think Pantoja is that good. I do have a bet on Pantoja. I just took the point spread bet. I got a little better value. Minus 150, minus 5.5 points. Trying to get as much value as I can out of this fight. And then we go to the main event of the evening for the bantamweight title. Merab Dvalishvili defends his title against Petr Yan. It's a rematch. Merab, massive favorite, minus 450. Comeback on Yan, plus 350. I do have a bet on Petr Yan. It's not a win bet. It is a point spread bet. It is an alternate point spread bet. I got Yan at plus 13.5 points at minus 200. I think Yan can win a round. I think this fight is more competitive than the first one. I don't think Yan wins. I just don't know how he wins, honestly. But I do think he is a little more competitive. I think he gives Merab a little bit of a tougher challenge. But in the end, I think, and still, Merab Dvalishvili, champion of the world. And undeniably, Santos hurt Naimov. Oh, boy. They're slugging it. All right. I'm getting out of here. Jed will be here. virtually for the watch party at 9:30. This will all look a lot more festive. It's going to be a great time. So enjoy. This is a damn good event. This is a really good fight card. And you're a damn good group of fans and listeners. So thank you all very much. Enjoy UFC 323. We'll see you right before the Grant Dawson-Manuel Torres fight right here on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. Let's go.